Have you ever tried to do something good, something helpful, only for it to blow up in your face? Imagine this: you're part of a huge, joyous parade. King David himself is leading the celebration, bringing the Ark of the Covenant back to Jerusalem. The energy is electric, music is playing, people are dancing and singing. This is a monumental day for the entire nation. The Ark, this sacred golden chest, is being transported on a brand new cart pulled by oxen. You're walking alongside it with your brother. Your family was chosen for this task, a tremendous honor. The Ark is more than just an object. It represents the very presence of God on earth. It holds the 10 Commandments, the stone tablets given to Moses. It's the holiest item in existence. Suddenly, the parade hits a rough patch of ground, a threshing floor. The oxen stumble, the cart lurches violently. You watch in slow motion as the Ark, the sacred presence of God, begins to slide. It's about to topple over, to crash onto the dusty ground. What do? Your instincts scream. Decades of reverence, of knowing its importance, flood your mind. You can't let it fall. You can't let the symbol of God's holiness be dishonored like that. Without a second thought, you reach out your hand. You steady the Ark, just a simple, instinctive gesture to protect what is holy. You saved it. A sigh of relief. But the relief never comes. The moment your hand makes contact with the gold, a terrifying power erupts. The celebration music dies. The cheers turn to gasps of horror. And you fall to the ground, lifeless. Your name is Uzzah, and you've just been struck dead by God for trying to help. Why? Why would God do this? It feels so incredibly unfair. Uzzah wasn't trying to be disrespectful. He was trying to prevent a disaster. He was trying to protect God's own Ark. David, the king, was so shaken and angry that he stopped the entire procession right there. He was afraid to bring the Ark any further. If a man with good intentions could be killed so instantly, who could possibly stand before this holy God? This story from the Bible, in 2 Samuel chapter 6, is one of the most shocking and controversial. It forces us to confront a side of God that is often uncomfortable. We like to think of God as loving, forgiving, and patient, and He is. But this story reveals another crucial aspect of His nature, His absolute holiness. See, God had given very specific instructions for handling the Ark. It was so holy that it was not to be touched by human hands. It was meant to be carried on poles, inserted through rings on its sides, and only by a specific family of priests, the Kohathites. By putting it on a cart, they were already being careless, copying the methods of the Philistines who didn't know God's law. Uzzah's action, though well-intentioned, was the final step in a chain of disobedience. His touch, born of human instinct, violated a divine command. It was a clash between our human idea of helping and God, as standard of perfect holiness. What Uzzah saw as a crisis that needed his intervention, God saw as a moment where his explicit instructions were being ignored. This wasn't about God being a cruel tyrant waiting to zap someone. It was a dramatic, unforgettable lesson for all of Israel, and for us today. It teaches that God's holiness is not something to be taken lightly. We can't approach Him on our own terms, with our own well-meaning but flawed ideas. We must come to Him His way. The story of Uzzah highlights a fundamental truth. There is a gap between our human imperfection and God's perfect holiness, a gap so vast that we cannot cross it on our own. Uzzah's death is a stark reminder of that, but the story doesn't end there. It points forward to the only one who could bridge that gap, the one who was both fully human and fully divine, who could touch the unholy and make it clean, Jesus. So the next time you think about this story, don't just see it as an act of divine anger. See it as a powerful illustration of why we so desperately need a Savior, someone who could stand in the presence of God's holiness on our behalf. It's a tough lesson, but a vital one. Thanks for watching. If this story made you think, hit that subscribe button for more deep dives into these powerful narratives.